718-324-7484. Once again, that's 718-324-7484. Cooler Runnings Restaurant, simply the best Jamaican food.
Monday. Looks, I'm telling you. Snow on the ground. Not that it's new, but man, I could hardly find anywhere to squeeze myself in. Hey everyone, good evening to you, and you, wherever you are, whomever you are. I'd like to welcome you to Inside of the Zone. It's the Monday Drive. I'm a bit late, but it's better to be late than never. I'm here trying to catch my bearings. No joke. I'm not out of breath. I'm just laughing at myself. You know, I'm the host, producer, and presenter, which means I have no one. I'm solo, running this thing on my own, coming in, setting up. Oh my goodness. How you all doing? Have you resurfaced yet? What have you been up to? What a day, what a day, what a day. What a weekend, what a weekend, what a weekend. Oh my God. Hey everyone. 5:30 p.m., which means I'm just gonna literally breeze through like a tornado. It is Monday, January 31. It's the last day of January. Yeah. You're feeling good? You start counting down now? Maybe you're gonna get married or you're gonna travel or something. So you're saying, oh, August is coming up, you know? So you're starting to count down. Welcome to the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. Brought to you by Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant, 1802 Nereid Avenue in the Bronx. And as always, you know, on a Monday, I'm going to take you through the Monday beat, chasing the Monday blues out of here. It's my Collab Music Monday. So collaboration between, you know, between the artists. Yeah. This is Linkage Radio, your budding and buzzing station, 24/7, 365 days for the year. Followed by Voices, the intellectual voice that has everyone talking. So I got so much for you, but because time is of the essence, you know. As always, you know, at 6 o'clock we have news, happenings, and facts. You know what that is. Keeping you in the know. So welcome, I'm here. Don't worry. I braved the weather just for you. Let's start off with some music from a Collab Music Monday. Welcome, everyone. Our telephone number is 914-600-4228. 914-600-4228. Get some music ready up in your cold bones.
Give it to me, do it to me, give it to me. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. The way you make me feel from deep down in my soul, I'm losing all control. Girl, I can't fight this feeling. It feels so right. Champagne and candlelight, the way you hold me tight. Girl, I can't fight this feeling. Oh no.
Woman, you're nice. Smile on your face is like you're right upon my night. Girl, me can't wait to give you everything you like. Hope you from the day your Christmas sight. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied. Don't be afraid to break the rules. And to better things, so tell the little man to cool. I'm my lucky star, I can't believe I found a jewel. And them all ask what you wanna do. So make them know say that me have the tool.
The way you make me feel from deep down in my soul, I'm losing all control. Girl, I can't fight this feeling. It feels so right. Champagne and candlelight, the way you hold me tight. Girl, I can't fight this feeling. Oh no.
Woman, you bring the niceness, priceless. Tell you what the place, bossy. Can't forget, yes, I love the chase. You know, say, no bagger man can come call your name. All where you gonna, you me claim. Woman, your body tight, hotter. Woman, you really blessed. Polite, proper, out above the rest. You are my darling empress. That's why, girl, I confess.
Passion, you dance and you smile, you beckon. And I just know what it is you reckon. Give me more, more, yes. Hey, Miss Kisses, I'm gonna grant you your wishes. And you can bet on your 4-leaf clover. I'm gonna love you over and over. The way you make me feel from deep down in my soul, I'm losing all control. Girl, I can't fight this feeling. No, it feels so right. Champagne and candlelight, the way you hold me tight. Girl, I can't fight this feeling. Oh no, love me more, love me more. Love me till I want no more. love me more. Love me till I want no more. Love you like that, girl. Timine, new government, give thanks.
Sing it.
You know, every day,
Realest thing here in our world, brother.
we give thanks.
For real.
You spend all that money on your watch. How much time you spend with your son? So much money in the club. How much you spend with the ones you love? The simple things are your blessings. Simple things, them are your blessings, a blessing. Simple things are your blessing. And you don't notice your blessings. You pick it with the shoes by your feet. Now pick and choose the friends where you keep. You now watch where you eat. When last you get a good sleep. The simple things are your blessings. Simple things are your blessing, your blessing. Simple things are your blessing. You better notice your blessing.
Sing it. Simplicity we use to survive. Many find it difficult because them ignorant and I. One alone they get in, I go live another life. Telling them again, but I know in a device. Life, no get chance too often. Cut out some of the sadness and invest in a laughing. Time you take a stress, lifetime passing. Tell them so you love them for you see them in a coffin. Let me tell you this, when you got good days, bad days. You know say you with up. Me woulda trade house and car and shed up. Just forget one more minute with my bread up. So you met up. Spend time together. Cherish every second of the day where you're there. Gotta tell you that you're the close one yesterday. You put an angel over me.
The simple things are your blessings. Simple things, them are your blessings, your blessings. Simple things are your blessing. And you don't notice your blessings. The simple things are your blessings. Simple things, them are your blessing, your blessing. Simple things, them are your blessing. You better notice your blessings. We've got life, so let's live. You make the time to chase the paper. When last you say a prayer. We've got life, so let's live. And while you're worshiping your treasure, remember nothing lasts forever. The simple things are your blessings. Simple things, them are your blessings, your blessings. Simple things, them are your blessings. You better notice your blessings. The simple things, them are your blessings. Simple things, them are your blessings, your blessings. Simple things, them are your blessings. You better notice your blessings. Simple things, oh the simple things. Health and strength, oh the simple things. Let me tell you about the simple things. I'm laying friends, I know simple things.
Yeah, Collab Music Monday right here on Inside the Zone with Lady D, Denise Gomez. It is Monday, Monday, Monday. And though you're snowed out and you're like, how much more of this can I possibly take? I've been here, and you count the years and you're like, man, another year again. It's January 31 and you know how February and March go, right? I'm sure you do. You remember. So we have to brace ourselves. More to come, more to come. Welcome to my YouTubers, Pat. Hey, Arlene. Arlene, it's so nice to see you. I'll be here until 7 p.m. with you this evening. Each and every Monday, I bring you, of course, the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. My name is Denise Lady D. Gomez. Welcome, everyone. Our telephone number is 914-600-4228, 914-600-4228. It is now time for me to take you to Voices, the intellectual voice that has everyone talking. What's going on? The Accompong Maroons, courtesy of TVJ's All Angles.
Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of All Angles. I'm Dion Jackson Miller. No, we're not in studio today. That's because given the controversies of the past few weeks and indeed months about the Maroon communities and the government of Jamaica, how they relate to each other, given controversial statements made by a compound Chief Richard Curry, as well as Prime Minister Andrew Holness, we've come to a compound to talk to Chief Curry about issues in the public domain. Do the Maroons see themselves as Jamaicans?
The Maroons see themselves as the first peoples of the land, the indigenous people of the land. And we have been here forever, as far back as the records shows us. And we know when we talk about sovereignty, there are many definitions in using the word sovereignty. When we talk about sovereignty, we're talking about the freedom.
Just before you go on to, I just want to be clear.
Yes.
Because your response was that we see ourselves as indigenous people, the first people.
Right.
But in 2022,
Yes.
do you describe yourself as Jamaican? Do you see yourself as a part of the country of Jamaica, as citizens of Jamaica?
All right. Let's put it this way. Again, if we're going to look at the dynamics of how history and time has progressed, right, we have understood the existence of a prior entity, a nation, that signed a treaty with the British, right? It's been said by the High Commissioner himself, who came here, to reaffirm the status of that treaty, the standing of that treaty that was signed between two sovereign nations. These were his words, exactly. That's the previous British High Commissioner, Asif. And when we look at the definition in the freedom of the soil, we were always free people. We lived off our land. We essentially blossom from our land. And the saying, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, right? We are nothing but a manifestation of this earth that we live on. We've always lived here. Our ancestors fought to defend it. And in years that have transcended since then, we have identified ourselves as these people, knowing the rights that we have, owning the land that we're on. So when we talk about sovereignty in its definition, it's the freedom. It's that which is derived from the freedom of this land.
And I want to explore that a little bit more, except that you're not answering me at all, Chief. But it's an easy question. Are you guys Jamaicans or not? Do you see yourselves as Jamaicans?
We are.
Okay. So let's
all
talk
the
then
same.
about sovereignty, because there have been a number of legal experts who have been analyzing the meaning of the word in terms of strict international law terms. Is this the phrase, for instance, that we've heard long before you, with the Maroons saying they belong to a state within a state? They're sovereign people. You know, those are words and phrases that are coming from decades.
Of course.
But what does it really mean? So we've had scholars such as constitutional expert Dr. Lloyd Barnett, Queen's Counsel, former Solicitor General Michael Hilton, Professor of International Law at UA, Stephen Bassiani, saying, as far as international law is concerned, no, the Maroons are part of Jamaica. The community is part of Jamaica. It's not a separate state in the sense of being a separate country. So let me ask you to respond to that.
All right. So when it gets to the legalese, you know, we always try to avoid using certain terms which often confuses people, and that's why I like when I talk, I have the backative from the legal standing, and Dominic, which I introduced earlier, has also presented the different ideologies, looking and showing how this thing really operates. So we have known a formula, meaning how we operate as a autonomous people, and in terms of the confines of our space, These are things now which gets into a higher level conversation, because sovereignty also speaks a definition of a boundary. And, you know, for long, you know, ages, we have always come to know specific territories and areas that are always and have always been maroon lands or sacred lands, right? As to a boundary and a definition of a boundary, those are challenges that today we still have to try and work out, because the language that has been presented isn't as clear-cut as one would think. So the treaty we've had several interpretations of what is the maroon land. Is it 1,500 acres? Because it says 1,500 acres bearing northwest of Trelawney Town. So let me ask them, how big was Trelawney Town? Trelawney Town was the original settlement. How big was a compound, which was a part of Trelawney Town? You know, there are other conversations which haven't been brought forward in looking at this 1,500 acre allotment, which leads us to believe that this 1,500 acres is an increment to what was already understood to be in control and possession of the maroon.
Chief Corey would have explained that at that time when the treaty was written, even though in today's modern interpretation some clauses may be repugnant, but at that time it was speaking of a time of war and slavery. Regardless of that fact, it also spoke about the freedom and liberties that shall last forever for the maroon people. And then it also talked about, you know, in perpetuity for the born and unborn. Within laws, let's say even titleship, land patents, where it would say for your heirs and assigns forever. Someone has to look at this language and interpret it, because they would now be looking at who actually owns the fee simple absolute estate to know that if they're the actual true landlord of the land. Now, in this retrospect for the Maroons in that treaty, we would have to understand who is actually the landlord of these lands after the war, who controls these lands after the war. That's where sovereignty is being derived from. Because when the Crown sends their plenipotentiaries to a Kongpong to wave the white flag in order to say that they're coming to peace with the Maroon government so that peace may reign over the island again and commerce can continue. Because this was for 83 to 84 years that commerce was being disrupted. So we have to actually look, you know, at history and law. They're not mutually exclusive, right? So that in today's modern society, we cannot forget the sovereignty, even though it may provoke people as we speak about it, because from the Roman Empire to many empires, the Ottoman Empire and such, sovereignty has been described in many different ways, of course, because governments rise and fall.
Which is why I'm asking you, in 2022,
Correct.
just explain for me in simple terms
Right.
what it means for you.
What it means for us is to be able to actually stand on our birthright in a essence where our situation as today, or what should have happened in 1962, as Chief Corey would have mentioned in that letter, that we can invoke that power to say that we need to come to the table if there is another government or another entity, whether de facto, quasi, etc., would have to now say, okay, what is this other entity, government, saying? Do they have the right? Do they have the authority? Do they have the sovereignty of the soil? These soils are not taxed. If they're not taxed and they have no titleship under the government of Jamaica, then how can it be the government of Jamaica's lands? This can easily be cleared up if they make a phone call to the Crown, and if anybody actually has factual information or paperwork that they can bring to say otherwise, that should be brought forward so that this argument would be cleared up, where maybe you guys wouldn't be interviewing us, because then you would be saying that would be a waste of time.
I know you're speaking there about the concept of the maroon land,
Yeah.
which itself is something that, you know, scholars have written on, scholars have studied. David Batts, for instance, wrote a whole article on maroon lands and where it falls.
Right.
But the average Jamaican, I don't think, is thinking in those terms. They're thinking in terms of whether or not you all plan to, you know, take up guns and go fight JDF and take over Garden House and take over Jamaica House.
Right. But you see, that wouldn't be the responsibility of the media to come and help.
It's our fault?
No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. Well, I am saying that I'm going to be honest, what we have noticed.
Sorry, just
Yeah.
I'm going to let you answer
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
just respond specifically for me to what I said.
Yeah, go
because
ahead. Can
really
you
and
repeat it
truly,
again?
there are
Sorry.
people who think so and want to take over.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That is clearly, that would be a very stupid decision from in any responsible way to
Do you
say
want
that.
to put up barbed wire all around your borders and say nobody else can come in, this is a separate country?
This is a separate. No, I don't think that is what is going to happen. what should happen and must happen at this period in time, at this juncture, based on all the evidence and at this point, the preponderance of evidence that can be brought forward in any court of law, but in the proper venue. That is what matters.
You use some of the words, for instance, that are causing the difficulty. Sovereignty is one, autonomy is another, another is self-determination.
Right.
And there are scholars who have said that, I interviewed some 2 weeks ago, who have said that when the Maroons speak of sovereignty, what they're speaking about is autonomy. What they're speaking about is the ability to determine their own fate and to, run their own communities. But when we hear the leaders speak, it seems to contradict that.
Correct.
So let me ask you now, is it that you want to secede from Jamaica?
No, that is not. So this is it. That's why I say that there are levels in how you view sovereignty, right? There's the respect for the land and the territory, right? And as Maroons, we've always prided ourselves in maintaining, preserving, and living from our land, right? So when we talk about sovereignty, we talk about protecting those sacred lands, right? There are many areas in the cockpits that we lived, people still live. Our ancestors are actually buried in these lands, right? So for us, the argument of sovereignty is recognition of the space that we occupy, but also the identity that comes with it. This is not something that is new, right? When you look at what happens with the tribal Indians in the United States and the relationship with the government, you see that there are models which actually recognizes the separateness of these people, but there are facilities and measures in place to allow the integration and mutually beneficial relationships of these two entities. So it's not something that is new or novel. It already exists. So what we're saying is knowing what our entitlements are, which is not just on the premise of indigenous rights, but as First Peoples who actually live here, are buried here, and control the space for as long as history can tell us.
Thank you.
Well, very interesting interview Dion Jackson Miller had with the leadership of the Maroons in a compound town. This matter of treaty has been on the table. There have been disagreements. People have made assertions as to what they think the intentions of the Maroons are. And it also came out in what Dion Jackson Miller said too. They have some titles here, you see, that I need to write them down because I couldn't even say the president. I couldn't even say. They have some titles here. But nevertheless, I don't wish to digress, but nevertheless, this is a big discussion that's going on in Jamaica, and we will see, because if they are challenging that they need sovereign place, then you're perhaps seeing yourself not as a part of a nation. You're thinking yourselves as your own people, your own government, all those things. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. We believe they have their place, don't you? Yes, there are many descendants of the Maroons. But I recall several months back, maybe like going 2 years now, because time has gone by so quickly, when they were alluding to the fact that they needed to have their own currency. And we are like, so where is that money going to be spent? Because every currency that comes in, every denominator that a nation has to go through its central bank, whatever that bank is called. In Jamaica, it's the Bank of Jamaica. So if they are not going to be printing money for you, and you're down on record that yes, this penny, or whatever they want to call that denominator, comes through our system and we are willing to accept it, anywhere that it is presented. All those things you have to think of. It's not just about you wanting to be a people and wanting to have your own government. It's going to come with some kind of measures that has to be implemented and followed, adhered to. Need I say more? 5:56 p.m., but interesting how, the descendants have risen up and they want to be seen, to be heard. And it's important to be seen and to be heard, but it's even greater important as to the facts of what you present. It's like immigration. They need evidence. If you don't have evidence, you're not getting nowhere. So, welcome everyone. 4 minutes to the hour of 6 o'clock. At 6 p.m., Chris Wilby joins me, and we will be, of course, talking news this afternoon right here on Inside of the Zone with Lady D. Denise Gomez. Hello to my YouTubers. Don't forget our telephone number is 914-600-4228. 914-600-4228. Did I say it's Collab Music Monday? Of course I did.
Come, let me love you for life. Oh, baby, let me love you forevermore. Yeah, I wanna love you forevermore. Well, I'll be your husband. I'll be your wife. Sure. Oh, baby, let me love you forevermore. Yeah, I wanna love you forevermore. Your love is magic, got to have it, got to grab it. And the fact is, like a magnet, I'm attracted to you. Here's my decision, and your loving is my mission. Girl, I follow in position, yeah, I'm sticking like glue. So let them say what they want to say, try what they want to try. What I create could never be destroyed by bad mind. We'll never stop it, and you know we'll never drop it. And no one could ever top it. So baby, come, let me love you for life. Oh baby, let me love you forevermore. Yeah, I wanna love you forevermore. Yeah. But I'll be your husband. I'll be your wife. I know. Oh baby, let me love you forevermore. Yeah, I wanna love you forevermore. Yeah. Sometimes we disagree, I'm mad at you and you're vexed with me, but still we always find a way to work things out. Sometimes I get on your nerves, sometimes you act absurd, but understanding is what love's about. Can you and me together, we can face anything. No opposition could erase what we built. Just like the Energizer Bunny, ever going, never slowing. So baby, come, let me love you for life. Oh baby, let me love you forevermore. Yeah, I wanna love you forevermore. Yeah. Oh well, let me are your husband, and let me are your wife. Sure. Oh baby, let me love you forevermore. Yeah, I wanna love you forevermore. Yeah, now everybody say yeah. Say yeah. Now everybody say yeah. Say yeah. You love someone, say yeah. Say yeah. You in the love, say yeah. And they come and they let me love you for life. Oh baby, let me love you forevermore. I wanna love you forevermore. Well, I'll be your husband, I'll be your wife. Oh baby, let me love you forevermore. I wanna love you forevermore. I'm here to love you. Let me love you, girl. Let you love me, baby. It's so much love right here to give to you. Love just drives me crazy. I'm here to love you. Let me love you, girl. I'm here to love me, baby. Got so much love right here. So much. I'm gonna love you forever and another day. And then another day. Forever and another day. Never fade away. My love will never go away. Never go astray.
welcome. Let me love you for life. Good afternoon to you, and you. Welcome to Chris Wilby of CaribbeanVibesRadio.com joining me online this afternoon. Chris, what's going on?
It is Collab Monday. Good afternoon to you, Lady D, the DJ from Linkage Radio.
You didn't know I have a sound. It's called Lady D sound. So says Betty.
Lady D sound.
That's what Betty said years ago, and here I am today. In the Collab Music Monday. I tell you. How are you over there, Chris? Your foot is buried under?
I am buried. I'm barely pushing my head out right now. But we're surviving. We're slowly digging ourselves out.
That's right. So are we.
Yeah.
So are we. It's interesting driving at this time, and you still have people who are very impatient. But you just not pay them no mind.
Well, unfortunately, I have to pay them mind still, because if you don't pay them no mind, you're going in trouble.
A true thing. Because while them are do for them craziness, you have to pay attention to theirs, right? Yeah.
So in times like these, you have to drive for yourself and drive for them too.
And everybody else. So thank God we're here, and you had a birthday on Saturday. So again, we did big you up.
I was buried under the snow. Actually, I was so outside at one point. It's crazy, Lady D, because when it's snow, I hate to wait until it pile up.
That's right.
Before I start shoveling. So Saturday afternoon, I was outside shoveling snow and trying to see if I can clear some of it in the wind. And it got a little bit too tedious. I would say, you know what, it's true.
It overcame you. You were overcome.
Yes, I was out there for about an hour, and I was like, this is futile.
Yeah, no make no sense.
No, so I clean one section.
The wind blow and it settles on the other.
Yes, so I'm like, but then yesterday morning when I got up, I kind of glad that I did, because the areas where I started, it wasn't as high as some of the other areas.
Okay.
So in a sense, it kind of helped, you know. So,
well,
yeah, that was that.
Thankfully, we are here.
That was what I did for my birthday.
That's all right. That's fine. It may never come back. It may never happen again on your birthday. So you better take it and say, oh, you know that in 2022 on January 29,
29.
Right?
Yeah.
You know that we got about 14 inches of snow here in Massachusetts on my birthday. You don't understand how that chronicle gone down, you know. Don't just see it as just another thing.
Sure.
Okay. See it there? You know, me can always go dig up some stuff to bring facts to light. So welcome, welcome everybody. It's now time for keeping you in the know with news, happenings, and facts. To participate, you may call 914-600-4228. That's 914-600-4228 at the end of or feature of the headlines today. My name is Denise Lady D. Gomez, alongside
Chris Wilby from Caribbean Vibes Radio Network.
It is now 4 minutes after 6 o'clock. Keeping you in the know with news, happenings, and facts, brought to you by Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant, 1802 Nereid Avenue in the Bronx. Chris Wilby.
Good afternoon again to you, Lady D. Good afternoon to all the listeners. Starting off this evening with news coming out of Jamaica. 3 men have been charged in connection with the seizure of a Browning 9mm pistol and a magazine containing 2 rounds of ammunition on Back Road, Steertown in St. Anne on Saturday, January 29. Charged are Clive Bradley, a 35-year-old construction worker of Highgate St. Mary, Damian Turner, a 35-year-old construction worker of Steertown St. Anne, Samuel Richards, a 21-year-old mason of Steertown St. Anne. Reports from the St. Anne police are that about 5:45 p.m., a police team was conducting a targeted raid at a premises in the community when the firearm was found hidden under a piece of zinc in the yard. All 3 men were occupying the premises at the time of the find and were subsequently charged. The court date is being finalized.
Former Miss USA, Chesley Christ, died Sunday morning, said her family and the New York Police Department, which is investigating her death. She was 30. Christ died after jumping from a building in Manhattan, police said. She was an attorney who sought to help reform America's justice system, as well as a fashion blogger and entertainment news correspondent, and was crowned Miss USA in 2019. The NYPD will look into the circumstances surrounding Chris's death, Detective Martin Brown confirmed Monday. He declined to give more details. It is standard for police to investigate deaths by suicide. CNN has reached out to the New York office of the chief medical examiner about whether an autopsy will be conducted. Quote, "In devastation and great sorrow, we share the passing of our beloved Chesley Christ," family said in a statement. Her great light was one that inspired others around the world with her beauty and strength. She cared, she loved, she laughed, and she shined. The former Miss USA winner posted on an Instagram post before her death. "May this day bring you rest and peace," she wrote alongside a photo of herself. Christ of North Carolina was a civil attorney who conducted free legal work for prisoners who may have been sentenced unjustly. Licensed in 2 states, she earned a law degree and MBA from Wake Forest University after completing her undergraduate work at the University of South Carolina. She was a track athlete. Christ also worked as a correspondent for entertainment news program Extra. "Our hearts are broken," the company said in a statement. "Chelsea was not just a vital part of our show. She was a beloved part of our Extra family and touched the entire staff. Our deepest condolences to all her family and friends." Added her family's statement, Chesley embodied love and served others, whether through her work as an attorney fighting for social justice, as Miss USA, and as a host on Extra, but most importantly, as a daughter, sister, friend, mentor, and colleague. We know her impact will live on.
The Kingston Central Police are reporting that they have seized a Browning 9mm pistol along with a magazine containing 3 9mm rounds of ammunition during a joint police-military operation in Kingston Lane in downtown Kingston. The find happened at approximately 6:11 a.m. on Monday, January 31st. Reports are that the lawmen were on an operation in the community when the cellar of a house was searched and the weapon found. No one was taken into custody in connection with the find.
Out of Beijing, the United States is paying athletes to create disturbances during the Beijing Winter Olympics, Chinese state media reported Saturday. The accusations came just a week before the start of the most politicized games in recent memory and immediately drew a denial from the U.S. Embassy in China. China Daily newspaper, citing sources familiar with the matter, said there was a plot by Washington to persuade athletes to play passively or refuse to take part in competitions and express discontent toward China. The sources stressed that Washington's plan is a new example demonstrating attempts by some anti-China forces in the United States to politicize sports and maliciously disrupt and spoil the Beijing Winter Olympics Games, the article said. In return, the United States will offer financial compensation and work to protect the reputations of athletes who cooperate, according to the paper. Washington is leading a diplomatic boycott of the Games by a group of Western nations over China's human rights record, in particular its crackdown on Muslim urges in the western region of Xinjiang that the United States has labeled genocide. The countries taking part in the boycott are not sending officials to Beijing for Friday's opening ceremony, but their athletes will participate in competitions. The U.S. Embassy in Beijing on Saturday denied the accusations, reported in China Daily. Quote, "We were not and are not coordinating a global campaign regarding the participation at the Olympics," an embassy spokesperson said in an email to AFP. U.S. athletes are entitled to express themselves freely in line with the spirit and charter of the Olympics, which includes advancing human rights. The embassy said Beijing was seeking to deflect attention from their egregious human rights record. We expect the PRC to ensure the safety and well-being of our athletes and all athletes competing in Beijing and to respect their human rights and fundamental freedoms, the spokesperson says. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi had already urged the United States on Thursday to stop disrupting the Olympics during a phone call with his American counterpart, Antony Blinken. Adding to the acrimony surrounding the Games, Germany's top official for snowboarding on Monday said he feared COVID-19 tests were being exploited in Beijing to exclude stronger athletes.
A woman whose throat was cut has become Trelawney's fourth murder victim. Police sources have confirmed that the woman died about 10 a.m. on Monday in the South Trelawney community of Greentown. The woman's death follows those of two women and a man who were killed after a car in which they were traveling was sprayed with bullets by unknown assailants in the community of Bounty Hall last week.
Carrie Fitzwilliam Robinson, the journalist, author, and historian known as the voice of television program Hill and Gully Ride, has died. Robinson passed away in his sleep at his St. Andrew home yesterday at the age of 97, and that would have been January 28. He has been ailing for some time. Robinson has had an impactful decades-long career in media as a journalist and a manager, but was most famous for his work as the producer and narrator of the community program Hill and Gully Ride. It delved into Jamaican history fused with exciting stories of people, their lives and work, and how they interacted in their communities in every nook and cranny of Jamaica. A Calabar High School alumnus, Robinson grew up in British Jamaica and later attended Howard University, where his intention was to study medicine. But the lanky lad instead pursued history and psychology and, on returning to Jamaica, embarked on a quest that would help him to make a contribution to nation building. That was how he landed a job at The Gleaner before he became a broadcaster at Radio Jamaica and later an employee of the government's Public Relations Office, now the Jamaica Information Service. Robinson was head of the Public Relations Office from around 1962 to 1971 when he was made general manager of the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, a post he held until 1987. He later served overseas in Jamaican embassies in Washington, D.C. and Mexico City. Robinson has done extensive research on the Maroons and penned their history in the book The Fighting Maroons of Jamaica. He is also the author of The Iron Thorn and Memoirs of a Media Man. Robinson had been conferred with the Order of Distinction, Commander Class, and the Silver Musgrave Medal. He has also been awarded by the Press Association of Jamaica. His wife predeceased him more than a decade ago, and they were the parents of one daughter, Catherine. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, has described Robinson as a man who was dedicated to the very end. Dedicated to the very end, he only stopped producing Hill and Gully Ride at the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic. Even though he's lost his sight, he was still scripting and narrating the program, which shines a light on the folk in villages across Jamaica. It was a marvel to watch him, a man who lost his sight, produce a television program, Grange said in paying tribute to Robinson. She also recalled Robinson's role in establishing the television section of the Jamaica Information Service and his service as general manager of the former Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation. In his long life, Kerry Robinson captured and presented the story of Jamaica from our perspective. His effort to preserve through film and television the heritage of our people was immense, and he leaves an important body of work.
Small poultry farmers are crying foul over the government's consideration to temporarily suspend the Common External Tariff, the CET, and additional stamp duties, ASD, on imported leg quarters to make chicken more affordable to consumers. The farmers agreed with Leonard Fulton, president of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, the JAS, who has said such a decision would be a devastating blow to about 150,000 small farmers. Jermaine Black, a poultry farmer in Linstead, St. Catherine, told the Jamaica Observer that a suspension of the duties on leg quarters shouldn't even be a thought. If this is approved, leg quarters will cost roughly half the price of whole chicken and locally produced leg quarters. He said, "We can't import chicken and man they here I sell chicken. A madness them a deal with. Them should have some little teams, and if 10,000 pounds of chicken needed, them just go round and check the little farmer them. The big farmers alone can't feed everybody. The small farmers play a big part too." We just hear from the news last week, so chicken now go up 10%. This I go set way back because people now go on buy enough like before. Last week, Jamaica Broilers announced that it will hike the price of chicken meat by 10% by the end of January. Continued cost increases for corn, soy, and a lot of other raw materials are blamed. Black, who has been in the business since 2016, said prior to the hike, he sold 1 pound of chicken for $180. Now that goes for $250. He said while some farmers are charging $300.
The use of private investigators, PIs, has grown rapidly in recent times, and those who employ them are drawn from all walks of life, a general check by the Jamaica Observer has revealed. Among the clients are employers who want to know if their employees are really working from home amid the pandemic, as well as individuals locally and internationally who want to ensure their partners are being faithful. Trevor Valentine, director at Valiant Private Investigative Services Jamaica Limited, told the Jamaica Observer that many workers have been investigated by their bosses since the government issued a work-from-home order to curtail the spread of the novel coronavirus. When we have lockdowns, especially the very first lockdown and people are working from home, a lot of companies call to check on their workers. Employers were saying they wanted to check on them to see if they were really at home because they should be working from home, but they suspect that they are elsewhere, Valentine revealed. I get a lot of calls. You will hear, "My director is staying at home," or "My manager is staying at home, but I'm not picking up that they are at home." And all those things, he added, noting that he won't reveal the companies. "I love what I'm doing. I love my investigation. I was a homicide detective. I don't like an easy case to deal with. I like a challenge, so I really like what I do." The director of another company, I360JA, who asked not to be named, said it is those places that employ mass employees or high-paid employees. I don't think that in between that would be feasible unless it's a one-man shop and the boss just disgusting. That's the only thing that can come to my mind for those cases. Both men refused to disclose service charges, saying it goes against their policy. The 60JA director explained, however, that it really depends on what motivates them to get the information. Sometimes the expenses to get the job done can be very large. The Private Security Regulation Authority, PSRA, an agency within the Ministry of National Security, charges a fee of 5,000 Jamaican dollars for the registration of a private investigator, a PI. The PSRA serves to monitor and regulate the operations of organizations and individuals operating in the private security industry and to facilitate a closer link between private security and state security in the interest of national well-being. These organizations include contract security organizations, proprietary security organizations, private security guards, private investigators, and security trainers. According to the PSRA, due to the rapid growth in the number of organizations and individuals operating in the private security industry, it became highly desirable that a system be introduced to subject those organizations and individuals to some form of regulation and monitoring, hence the passing of the Private Security Regulations Act in 1992. Valentine, the ex-policeman, told the Sunday Observer that there have been cases in which both men and women who are overseas paid for his services to keep track of their partners in Jamaica. In some instances, he said these were people who were filing for partners they met online and wanted to make sure they weren't just being used for a green card. People do reach out for private investigator services, and you find it more from the people overseas than the local side. It is more of the people in the diaspora and Jamaicans abroad. People will meet somebody and say they want to file for them, but they want to know if they are serious. You get many of those cases, he said. Jamaica is a very unique country with connections to a lot of people, and Jamaicans are all over the world. People call from Germany, Russia, United States, Canada, and many places in the Caribbean. He added that people want to find out everything.
Accused gunwoman Sadine Hilton, who is charged with murder, today had her bail further extended and was ordered to return to court on March 8th. Hilton is jointly charged with Sion Knight. They are accused of the August 21st, 2021 shooting death of Richard Baker in Glendevon, St. James. This morning, the St. James Parish Court was told that the post-mortem report and a DNA analysis report were still outstanding. Hilton's bail was revoked last month following an incident on December 9th where she was shot at while reporting at the Ramble police station in Hanover. The $1 million bail was subsequently reinstated. Meanwhile, during today's court proceedings, attorney-at-law Shelley-Ann Hyman told presiding judge Keisha Grant that she would no longer be representing Knight. Hyman had represented him during a previous bail hearing. The attorney informed that the accused man's relatives had not fulfilled certain obligations. Knight, who had been offered bail in the sum of $1 million, was remanded until March 8th. The allegations are that on August 12th, the now deceased Baker was driving along the Salt Spring Main Road in St. James when he was stopped to check something on his vehicle. A white Toyota Axia motor car drove up beside him and the occupants shot him multiple times. Baker managed to drive away from the scene and encountered a police patrol to whom he gave a report of what happened. The police pursued the shooters to Sam Sharp Square, where Hilton was discovered to be the getaway car's driver. Baker subsequently died at the Cornwall Regional Hospital while being treated.
25 minutes after 6 o'clock, that's a wrap for presenting our headlines this afternoon here on Keeping You in the Know with News, Happenings, and Facts. My name is Denise Lady D. Gomez, and online with me is my co-host. His name is
Chris Wilby from Caribbean Vibes Radio.
That's right, and we do this each and every Monday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. p.m. here on Inside the Zone with Lady D, Denise Gomez. Welcome, everyone. To our YouTubers, we say stick and stay with us. Don't go anywhere. And to those listening to us on CaribbeanVibesRadio.com, SignRadio.net, and Linkage Radio 104.5, 101.7 FM, we welcome you. Don't forget to log on to my YouTube channel, Inside the Zone with Lady D, Denise Gomez. I just want to put a plug here that this past Saturday, we had a great morning from 10 a.m. to about 11:30. It was Saturday morning runnings. Oh, Lord, we spoke about the buses that ply the route in your parish, in your town, your community. And, oh, my God, I got the chance to talk about Rat Nest. A bus that used to come to my my crossroad at my terminus. Oh my God, Saturday morning runnings. You don't know what you're all missing. Welcome, Yvette, Andrea, you guys, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Someone has wants to talk to us, Chris. Let's see who it is. Welcome to Keeping You in the Know.
Good evening, Lady D and Mr. Wilby and all your guests and all who's listening.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, young lady.
Oh, my God.
You know, I decided I'm not, anytime you call, I'm not going to say anything. I'll allow Chris.
Lady D, I hope you put another $1,000 on Mr. Wilby's pay for Thursday.
Yes.
He did a fabulous job on Thursday.
Yes. Chris,
I was listening to him. You know, he was just Mr. Wilby.
Just smooth and go on, so.
Yes, he didn't want to go in your step in your step.
Yes, that's all right, ma'am.
So I just called to let you know that you have to raise his pay.
Yeah, not a problem. So, Chris.
All right. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you, young lady.
And I thank you. I thank you for advocating for me.
I will just put it inside of the oven so that it can raise.
Exactly. People advocating for me, but I have some people in my corner.
There you go, and that's a good thing, and it's a good corner to be in. Yam Lady's corner is the best. Stay there.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't want to be on the opposite side of Yam Lady at all.
Let's see who else wants to talk to us. Hello, welcome. How are you?
Welcome to your program. Nice to listen to your program.
Yes, sir. Thank
The
you.
one who called
last week.
The one who called last week.
Yes. How you doing?
Nice to listen to your program. I'm okay. Very interested too. I like to learn at all times.
Thank you. Remind me of your name because I'm adding you to my call-out list.
My name is Robert.
Robert. Okay, I have cousins.
Hey, Robert, welcome.
Welcome, baby. Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to the program. These are the things that elevate us that we can learn more and educate ourselves more.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true.
So who want to learn, who want to listen to it, unless they don't want to learn. Because if we don't learn, we can know things, and we have to get to know the right things and know it from the root.
That is
not
true.
from the top.
Well, Robert, if it starts from the top, it's just going to topple down, right?
Yeah, you have to start from the root. When you start from the root, you get more sense of tight, a more stronger relationship.
Blessings, Robert. Thank you so much.
You see what they do, them do. Them start from the root, So when them branch out, you can't stop it. That's why I tell enough man in America, say, the Jew run America. If enough don't know it, if you look at it, the Jew run America. And any of the Jew get a lead of the White House, you see how America run.
Yes, thank you, Robert. All righty.
Yeah.
We appreciate your call.
Thanks, Robert.
Yeah, all right. I still listen to your program.
Yes, man. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. All righty.
You can never be the Jew in this country, mommy.
That's
never.
Yes, sir. There are.
You will never be the Jew in this country.
There are force.
If you work with them, then check never bounce.
All right. Thank you.
When me know, me work with one, I mean know. When you learn, you have to give me pink slip go collect. Pink slip, you give me go collect.
All right.
So that's why you have to know your rights.
Yes.
In this country. And not full of food on food. In America, when you can't see here, you there Jamaica, whatever your country you come from, you did have years of years in our country. And as long as you have ambition, you will succeed. Because if you come pick up back, you will survive.
Mm-hmm. All right. I hear you. Sound words. Thanks, Robert.
No problem.
All righty. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure having you. We appreciate your call. We respect our listeners and viewers. And here we are today. You know what, Ryan? I'm not even going to go there with the pig in the bus. Sorry. All righty. We do have another caller online. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lady D, Chris, and all the listeners. How are you?
We are well, Pat. How are you doing? Pat.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, I agree with young lady. You need to increase my brother Chris' pay.
That's right.
Because he did an excellent job. Oh, yes.
Yes, yes. Wonderful. And that's why there are two persons, if you notice, I ask if I'm not able to air the program.
Yes.
There are two persons in my corner, and I appreciate them.
Yes.
And yes, I too was watching, I watched and enjoyed. So
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes.
Okie doke.
Thanks.
I don't know if you will be bringing up on the you're welcome, Chris. On the platform later, Miss USA 2019, she jumped off the building yesterday.
I read the headline. Yes, I read the news.
Yes. Okay. All righty.
Yes. Thank
you. Okie doke. So I'm listening and enjoying the program as usual. Hi, Ryan.
Those things cast on the mindset of me. There's no way we could have. There's no way come across my mind. That's why we commit suicide. I don't think so. Yeah. At the mindset.
Well,
you don't have a strong mind of your own. That's what happened. Because there's no way none could have crossed my mind to go commit suicide.
Well, Robert,
that's not going to happen.
There are multiple factors. There are multiple factors that are involved. So we can't even analyze and just come up with one theory. So it's bigger than you and I.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Robert. I'm going to ask you to.
Much bigger than you and I.
Thanks, Pat. Robert, I'm going to ask you to hang up so you can release the line for me.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. It's 6:33 p.m. We featured the headlines for today. Yes, there was a headline concerning Miss Former USA who committed suicide. And we have discussed suicide. We've discussed mental illness. We have discussed so many things, but no matter how intense the discussion has been, and continues to be, there is always going to be that element of fear, hopelessness, and where something just goes awry in a person's mental state, their capacity to be able to stay focused, stay present, and not be dissuaded and persuaded by their minds and the things that they're going through, not to get to that place. Because when you get to that place, clearly, if you carry out the act, then you weren't able to come back. Some have stepped out on the ledge, and when they look down, they realize, I really don't want to die. But there are others, like her, who spent the time to write a note shortly before she jumped. So you say to yourself, what happens there? You and I don't know that. People have gotten overwhelmed. You have gotten overwhelmed, I'm sure, for some things that you feel that sense of despair. But perhaps it did not occur to you. That thought did not hit you. Mental illness is something that we don't understand. We don't. We think we do, but we really don't. And no matter how psychiatrists, psychologists are treating their patience, and they will sit on that couch, right, Chris, as long as they want them to come and as long as they're willing to come and talk and just talk, and they listen and listen. There is going to be that one thing that still takes them over the edge. Let's take a call.
You know?
Hold on a moment. Welcome to Keeping You in the Know. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lady D.
Yes, ma'am. Good day.
I've been trying to get through to you and I just couldn't. How are you?
We're good. We're happy you got through. How are you in this weather?
Yes. Well, it's good. And Mr. Wilby, sorry, I did tell you to drink a lot of coffee and soup for your birthday, so I guess your wishes came through.
If you send a snowstorm, you know. I have a
No,
feeling
man, I don't like the snow like that.
So
Mr. Wilby, sorry I didn't say afternoon. I don't like the snow like that. I like to look through the window on it, but not to go out in it.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry you had to clean. But anyway, as Lady D said, take a picture and keep a note that on your birthday you did that.
There you go.
Yes.
And we are happy that you're still alive today to, talk about it. Because some people doesn't do well, especially when they are older.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sit well with them.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Lady D, I was listening earlier, and when I heard the music, I said, Lord, Lady D not going to get to come on this evening.
Oh, yes, because I ran a little late. So, yes, they were playing selections.
So I was listening for a while and then came back. But thank God and, bless you as usual for bringing us such informative program.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And we look forward to it.
Yes.
Mr. Todd, touch base later.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right, Mr. Wilby. All right, Lady D.
Yes.
All right.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye. Okay. Thank you. And you too.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Yes, Chris. Anything comes to mind as I just spoke? I just had to.
The when it comes to mental health and a lot of people, we think we know what it is and we think we understand. But I would caution people to, don't assume that you know what a person is going through. A lot of people go through a lot, and some of them, they don't even talk about it.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
There are people in this world who are suicidal, and they have never told anyone that they are suicidal. There are people who struggle with it on a daily basis, and they find the courage each day to go along until they can't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that I realize is happening these days, and I'm happy for it. A lot of people are now changing the tune, especially Jamaicans. Once upon a time, you would have more Jamaicans with the opinion of the previous caller. But now I realize that people are changing. And I like that. I like the idea that people are now being more sympathetic. Because you used to have, in my day, people commit suicide. You have to hear a lot of people, jumping to conclusions and saying, why, I would never do this and I would never do that, and no matter what, I would never. These days, we really find people saying that. You're still going to find that, but it's more the minority view now. People are having compassion and saying, boy, they wish they had found a way out, and wishing, so it's a very difficult thing to deal with, when people do that, but
yes,
it's something that we have to wrestle with on a daily basis, and we have to realize that there might be people within our family or our own circles that are going through a lot. We never know. We just never know.
That is right. 914-600-4228. As you know, the lines are open. 914-600-4228. Let's hear from you. It's 20 minutes to 7 o'clock. The show is brought to you by Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant, 1802 Nereid Avenue in the Bronx. Stay with me. I'll be right back.
When you are hungry, come to Cooler Runnings Restaurant. Located at 1802 Nereid Avenue, corner of Wickham Avenue in the Bronx, we specialize in the best Jamaican and American cuisine, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We are open 24 hours, 7 days a week. We offer free in-house delivery, minimum $20 purchase, and we also have Uber Eats. We do barbecue Thursdays, fish fry Fridays, and seafood Saturdays. For more information, give us a call for our address and menu, 718-324-7484. Once again, that's 718-324-7484. Cooler Runnings Restaurant, simply the best Jamaican food.
Welcome back. This is Linkage Radio, your budding and buzzing station, 24/7, 365 days for the year. 104.5, 101.7 FM. I'm also broadcasting on CaribbeanVibesRadio.com, SignRadio.net. Welcome. It's Inside the Zone, the community platform where information is guaranteed, and you're in the segment keeping you in the know with news, happenings, and facts. We do have a caller, Mr. Wilby. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Yes, it's me. It's me again, Lady D. I'm making dinner so I had to run. When was Mr. Wilby's birthday?
Mr. Wilby?
January 29th.
Oh, happy birthday. Belated happy birthday to you, Mr. Wilby. I hope you live to see many, many, many more healthy ones.
I intend to live. I don't want to pass another 50 more.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be satisfied with 50 more years.
Okay. I'll go with you for that.
Okay.
About the girls there that committed suicide, jumped from the building. 2 hours ago, I was talking to my daughter who lives up there in Buffalo, and that's what I was talking to her. She was talking to me about it, and I said to her, in the conversation, she was saying to me, Mommy, they said, is because you notice a lot of people committing suicide since the COVID. And I said to her, why is everything now is the COVID? And there are signs that people, should notice too, away from, even the doctors, that, and a lot of people don't want to go to the doctor either when they are like that, in that, frame of mind. But there are little signs that we see and we ignore, to encourage someone to, don't say this, seek some help otherwise. And, in conversation, because sometimes in a conversation you can pick up a little thing, not in all cases, but a little thing that really brushes your mind, your thought, and it's so sad. She has so much to live for.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder really, really, and even the one in Jamaica too, I think there was a one in Jamaica there where they said, I don't know if it's in Jamaica because they put so much things on the web that is not really Jamaica. But it's so sad, and everybody now blaming everything on the COVID. So I don't know, probably you guys have more thought than, because I don't see it as the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than the COVID.
Yes. Well, I don't know if that is so. But I know that there were some effects from the COVID where some people got so delusional. It affected them mentally that way. But I wouldn't say that because the numbers had been rising even before COVID came into being, I believe.
Yes, and even now, they're talking about, because I heard they're talking, in sessions they would be talking the children. So much things are coming across them with on the computer that in the long run we're going to have problem with these kids, because with the what they call it, the vibes or whatever they call it, coming out of, generating from the computer is not kosher for the brain.
Okay.
So, it's so much things going on, and we have to really keep abreast and every little thing now, because, Lady D, let me go cook my dinner. Okay. Belated birthday again, Mr. Wilby.
Thank you very much, young lady.
Yes, Mr. Wilby. We're all concerned, and it's a very sad thing. It's tragic. It's tragic.
We're living in a very, very stressful time, and life was always difficult to navigate, and with the added stress of COVID and what it brings. I am not really surprised that more people are getting more stressful.
Yes.
So it adds to the existing problems, the everyday problems that people were facing. And so, yes, it may not be the COVID related in terms of the sickness itself, but it is COVID related in terms of that it is happening within the time that COVID is around, if you understand what I'm saying.
Man. Yes,
the whole stress that COVID is causing, a lot of people can't deal with it mentally. There's a lot of challenges, so it's just a very difficult time that we are going through. And for the children, boy, I tell you, I am glad I'm not a child in this time growing up, because trust me.
Hold your thought.
Wow.
Yes, hold your thought. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, lady.
Okay. All righty. So we have two voices here.
Okay.
I hear. All right, go, Pat. Go quickly.
Okay. I'm going to be brief.
Yes.
Is it possible you could have Delia Farquharson, because she is the specialist right now in counseling, and she could give you, the information, because from my what I have learned in forensic psychology, mental illness involves changes in emotions and thinking. And as I put in the chat, out of the heart flows what's the issues that are going on in the mind. Now, mental illness, it's very broad.
Yes.
You under the umbrella, you have panic attack, anxiety. If someone they, due to the loss of a loved one, they have been going through some form of depression. So this is something that, we can never get tired of hearing what's going on with mental illness. And there are times when people are going through their problems, they will mask it because they don't want to know. Another person will say, I'm going to kill myself. Now, those are triggers. You have to watch those individuals. So there are so many different factors. And another individual, you could be having a chemical imbalance, so you need medication. But it's so easy for some of us to say. And when it comes to the spiritual aspect, I have heard the question, how could someone say they're a Christian and they commit suicide very easily? Any number could play. So we have to be very mindful.
Right.
We have to be very sympathetic. All right?
I got you. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you,
welcome.
Pat.
All right. Vernon?
You're welcome. All right.
Good afternoon, Miss Beautiful.
Yes, sir. Good
Happy
afternoon.
belated birthday to Mr. Wilby.
Thank
Hope
you,
live
sir.
to see many, many more. Like another 200.
Thank you. I'll be satisfied with 50
And
more.
he just gave you 200. You know what,
Well,
Vernon?
Miss, that's Lady D.
Yes, sir.
They do a study and since the lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
most of the people commit suicide as children.
Mm. Mm-hmm. It's too much for them. That's what they're.
Yeah, because children is all up and down do all them things.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
what I blame every country for. They should never lock down anywhere.
But
People
Vernon,
didn't lock down anything.
so why you think they should not have locked down?
No, they should just let things go as it is. They shouldn't lock down with no mask or anything. No extra person would have died. They're trying to scare the people.
You don't think that the restrictions that they had put in place, the stay at home, the shutting down
No.
of businesses,
Once
granted,
you shut down
you
the
know.
country, you kill the economy. Right?
Yeah, I was about to mention that was an impact.
That is the worst thing.
Mm.
It may never come back. 'Cause it's still partially shut down right now.
Mm.
I know business closing all around the country because people have no money to spend.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, this will always be one of those controversial topics because many believe that the lockdown helped to spare many more lives. The wearing of the masks, because of, as the scientists have said, you know, you when you speak and your spittle dissolves in the air, you can't see it. So the more people are masked up until this thing has settled, just like when they had the flu back in the 1800s, it's the same way they were having to mask up for a very long time.
You mean the 1918 Spanish flu?
Right. The same way
Well,
they had to mask up.
That is the flu shot they're giving you today.
Well, I mean, I have got my flu shot and I'm grateful I'm still here. Many people have died from the flu. We know that. And still people are not dying from it who have gotten it.
But the mask also give you health issues, you know.
Well, they do tell you that you're not supposed to be wearing one mask for how many hours and days.
No, not one. You're not, the air you breathe out, you shouldn't breathe back in.
Well, again,
But,
I wouldn't have all the facts.
Where that is concerned, that is disputed. Because remember, you know, doctors have been wearing masks long before COVID. I have been wearing masks.
Yeah, but they only wear it when they do maybe surgery, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Vernon, and I want you to think about this for a minute. In my daily, my 9-to-5 job, I have to wear a mask on occasions, sometimes for 2-3 hours at a time, right? And I have to weigh the benefits and of wearing the mask over not wearing the mask. The particles that I am going to be inhaling, they are more dangerous to my health than, according to what you say, me wearing the mask and breathing in whatever air. So masks were not invented last year or the year before just for COVID.
It's been around for a long time.
These things were invented to protect people for a long time. There are certain jobs that you must wear a mask. There are certain jobs
that I know.
Right. So to say that
and
mask are not
if you have
good
asthma, you don't
because-
have to wear a mask. You know that, right?
Pardon?
If you have asthma, you don't have to wear a mask.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
No, you carry your pump. Nobody can make you put on a mask. That's the law.
Okay. Well,
yeah, there are lots of things that have been debunked, over the the course, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. You know, people just say some things that they believe is true, and when you check it out, it's really not true because the research.
A lot of things like that. That's
research,
always been. But what I know, if you put a hose on the tailpipe of a car and put it in the engine, run the car, it won't be long before the car dies.
All righty, Vernon. Well, we have 5 minutes to go. So we thank
You all
you
have
for
a wonderful evening.
Yes, thanks for your input.
Thursday we'll see each other, right?
Yes.
Talk again Thursday.
God willing.
So
Thanks.
we'll enjoy your birthday, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right.
All righty. It is 4 minutes to 7 o'clock. Where did the time go, Mr. Wilby? And here is somebody else calling, wanted to say something to us. Hello. Welcome.
Yes, good evening, Lady Deandro. How are you all doing?
We're well, Eddie. How are you?
I'm good. One quickie. This thing, Lady D, a lot of time I think when I do my studies, the people, nobody knows exactly what's going on with this virus. Nobody knows. At one time they said that if you got the virus, you can have brain problem. It damages your brain, and I think that's a thing they should pay attention to if that is true. People would live longer instead of committing suicide. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
All right. Thanks, Eddie.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Wilby.
You know, Lady D, when the history books are written about this period of time, there are so many facts that are going to be recorded, and there are so many people that are going to be proven wrong. You know, we just have to wait for that period when, you know, if we live long enough, when we look back on this time, you know, because quite frankly, some of the experts are going to be proven wrong, you know.
Yes.
But so are the misinformation that is being put out there. Some of them are willingly putting the misinformation out there because they are making millions of dollars from it. And some of them are just ignorant to the facts. So, you know, but we all have to just live and wait until that time, because a lot of us aren't really certain as to exactly what is what. So we just have to just hope and pray for the best.
Let's take a call, or final caller for the evening. Hello. Welcome.
Just a quick one, Lady D. There's a lot of misinformation that is being spreaded out there. Now with the medical field, there are folks who suffer from asthma and they have to wear a mask. Whether it's the doctor, the nurse, the practitioner, whatever, they have to wear a mask. So if you're suffering from asthma, the pump alone is not going to work. You have to wear a mask. And moreover, folks now who have suffered from COVID, there is a condition now called the long hauler. It can affect your brain. That is coming from COVID. And children, yes, they need socialization. The government has to put some kind of policies and procedure in place. And this is the reason why these policies and procedures are put in place, because there are folks who are very adamant about, you know, the procedures, but they save lives. Because if the government did not take these conditions, you know, and treat them properly, things could have gotten completely out of hand. So I just want to let folks know, you know, it's important for us to be educated. We must get the information. We cannot just go by hearsay. And you have to be versed in that area, you know, to give some advice. Because if you don't understand, you know, yes, ignorance is bliss. And when I say ignorance, when one is ignorant of the facts, if you don't have the facts, then some folks become very arrogant with the ignorance. So that's not teaching someone, you know. So
all right,
that's my final.
Thank you, Pat.
Very sound advice, Pat. As
On the
usual.
dot.
Thank you very much.
On the dot of
You're
7
welcome.
o'clock.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay. Have a good
All right,
evening,
thank
all
you.
right?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well,
all right, Lady D.
Mr. Wilby.
Once again, a very, very vibrant discussion.
Yes.
And yeah, we look forward to doing it again next week. Have yourself a
Absolutely.
wonderful, wonderful evening.
Take it easy, Chris Wilby.
Hungry? Come to Cooler Runnings Restaurant, located at 1802 Nereida Avenue, corner of Wickham Avenue in the Bronx. We specialize in the best Jamaican and American cuisine, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We are open 24 hours, 7 days a week. We offer free in-house delivery, minimum $20 purchase, and we also have Uber Eats. We do barbecue Thursdays, fish fry Fridays, and seafood Saturdays. For more information, give us a call for our address and menu, 718-324-7484. Once again, that's 718-324-7484. Cooler Runnings Restaurant, simply the best Jamaican food.
It has been my pleasure hosting another edition of the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. Thanks to my sponsor, Cooler Runnings, and to all of you who spent the time to tune in this evening. Thank you. I saw some jokes going on about this past Saturday morning, the pig in the truck, all kinds of stuff, but it was funny. And this coming Saturday, February 5 at 7 p.m., check out the show. Gifted Fingers, Touching Lives, a gift, a calling, a purpose. I'll be on with Dennis Rushton out of Jamaica. And Dennis is a phenomenal pianist, and it should be great. So looking forward to seeing you. Subscribe to my channel, Inside the Zone with Lady D. Denise Gomez. As always, love yourselves, love your children, and remember in everything you do, it is the will of God concerning your life. A lot of love and blessings, everyone. Mwah. I'm out of here.
From a little cottage in Green, I wrote these lines to you. Yeah. From a little cottage in
You're locked on to the #1 radio station. Number one radio station.
They play the best music.
Best music.
Pass me a flash, let me tell the things them. People never know the rum talk and me a sing them. Ali Brand the rum boss I represent. Remember Dilsham, Butchers Wine and Spirit Inc. of all of the alcoholic